Peters, and this is our Patron personal healing event for March 2023. So I've been doing these for a couple of years now, and I bring them to you at the end, towards the end of each month. So what happens is I have people who pledge on my Patreon at a certain level that gives them access to this personal healing event. So I've got 4 people on my list today, and I have your names in my cup here, my Dragon Power cup. So I will be pulling you out at random. So what I'll be doing is pulling out your name, then I'm going to pull a healing energy card for you to start the connection, and then I will tune in, and then I will pull a card to finish that connection. So each connection will go for around 10 minutes, some a little bit shorter, some a little bit longer, just depending on what you need at the time. So welcome. If you're not on the list, or if you're waiting for your turn, I do trust you've been led here for a reason. So what I would be doing if I was listening in that way, or waiting for my turn, is that I would be listening to what's coming up that's focused around other people, but I'd be really listening to what stands out for me. And I'd be listening not only with my ears, but with my heart and with my body, and just really paying attention to the things that my body's reacting or responding to. Hi Valerie, lovely to see you. Thanks for joining me today. So the way I work is a little hard to explain, but I think the best way I can probably explain it is that as I tune into you, I imagine that I'm you. And it sounds a bit crazy and weird, I know, but I know the way my energy is configured, so I know how it feels to be me. And when I tune into other people, I start feeling new things in my body and within myself that I don't usually feel. So for the last 18 years plus, I've been tuning in that way. Hi Jane, lovely to see you too. Thanks for being here. So I know, because I know my energy well, and I know what changes when I connect, then that makes me really highly sensitive in my body to your energy if I'm connecting with you. So I imagine that I become you, and I imagine what it feels like to be you in this moment. So as I'm connecting, like in this case today or any other time of connection, if I'm tuning into you specifically or directly, I will trust whatever's loudest in your vibration is going to get my attention first. So if you've got something loud going on energetically, that's going to be the loudest thing. That's going to be at the forefront of your energy, and it's going to be the first thing, or some of the first things I pick up on. And then once we get those louder things out of the way, we can go deeper. And this is why I really like the hour-long sessions, where we can sort of get the stuff that's loudest out of the way, and we can go really deep into the energy. But we can still go deep in these 10 minutes as well. So I think that's all I probably need to say. I'm going to take off my slippers. It's getting a little cool, or it's a little cool here today after we've had several beautiful autumn days. So I will start. Let's see who's first. Who's first on the list today? First person is this person, and it's Andrea Stuart. Andrea, welcome. Please take a nice big breath, and let's see what comes up for you and what's loudest for you. Now, if you're not Andrea, you may be waiting for your turn, or you just happen to be here, then sit back, relax, and let yourself receive. Hi, Kate. Great to have you here. Okay, Andrea, nice big breath. So as soon as I basically say your name, I start connecting. So I'm already feeling energy moving around the back of the head, and also around the right side here of the temple. So there's probably some mental energy going on, but let's just grab the card and then I'll tune in properly. So the best card to start this connection, Andrea, is this. That's interesting. Card 28, Purification. It's in the action category, and down here it says white light flushing through your spine, cleansing, purging, washing, clean yourself out, connect, and the presence of your loved ones in spirit. So your loved ones in spirit are around you and coming in really close right now. So I can feel them gathering in around, and I can also feel this light that wants to flush through your body, like a really deep internal clear out, a purging of things. Ah, Andrea. Oh, I didn't know. I don't remember that being you before when I've seen your comments. So thank you for saying your name. Fantastic. How exciting having you actually here. So energy wants to flush through and give you a really deep, thorough purge, really deep in your body, like the deepest that you could imagine inside yourself. And I feel like this will then ripple out into your life as well. So if things need clearing or sorting in your life, also tend to that if you're inspired to. But I feel like your really deep purging that wants to come through, that will ripple out into your life itself and your relationships. But let's tune in properly now, Andrea, and see what's loudest in your energy. Okay, the first thing I'm feeling now as I retune in is this breathlessness feeling and a sense of withdrawal or pulling back in the solar plexus. So the breathless energy is coming up in the heart here, and it feels almost like this sense of running out of energy, running out of air, running out of time. I get this feeling that things feel finite somehow. There's something around or something within you that you've got going on that feels like it's running out for some reason. It feels very panty and very breathless, this energy here in your heart. The energy down in your solar plexus is this pull back feeling. So this sense of retreat or sense of hesitation where you may be holding back or feeling a little bit withdrawn, or perhaps a lot withdrawn, but this sort of pull back feeling. So this pull back, this breathlessness here, and this heavy energy that's coming around the back of your head, but it's very much favoring towards the right side as well. So this energy through here, this feels like energy connected with your mind and your state of mind and what you're thinking at this time, and how supportive your thoughts are of what you're going through, or what changes are in play at this time. And the breathlessness feeling. Okay, let's look a bit deeper into this. I feel like I want to part clouds in your hearts and clouds in your lung area, which is around your heart chakra. I want to part clouds here. So it feels like something's been clouded over, something's been covered, and it's probably partly connected with your mind and your thoughts that are making you perhaps think the worst or jump to assumptions or conclusions that when you don't have all the information yet. There is a sense that your mind is kind of clouding things and clouding what's going on over your heart, and especially what I'm feeling here in your lungs and this breathlessness feeling. So I want to part these clouds. It's like parting curtains on the theatre stage, or parting curtains on a window, but there is this sense of parting the clouds and pulling them aside. So as I pull them aside here, I feel them kind of fading out as they move away and off on the horizontal. So pulling apart and fading away and clearing those clouds that have been hovering here over your heart. And it does feel like a bit of a hover, because as I tune in with those clouds, they feel a bit heavy and hovering, almost like an emotion. It could even be a bit of a depressive energy too that's been hovering and sitting and brewing quite, like a storm is just about to sort of open, the clouds are about to open up here in your heart. So it feels a bit emotional, this energy, but pulling those aside so we can look into your heart. Oh, sorry, I just touched the microphone. It's probably a bit loud. So pulling now into your heart. So we're being drawn now the clouds have parted, drawn into you, into yourself. And the breathless feelings coming back again. And also the energy in your solar plexus. So I feel like I'm just building up now courage for us to look inside and look a little deeper at what's going on here. And I feel like there's something here connected with love. The word love just keeps coming up right now. And I feel like the love is coming from the inside and pushing towards the outer area where I've parted those clouds. So love's coming in like an arrow. It's piercing through all the barriers and the layers within your heart. It's coming right from the center of your heart, and it's pushing through like the head of an arrow. Love. It's just simply love, and it pushes through from the inside. And I can see it now. I'm pushing through to the outside as it goes past this like window pane, this pane of glass, pierces through that and breaks the glass. It all cracks up. The glass shatters, drops to the ground, and this arrow that's pierced of love, that's pierced from the inside, extends out and sort of comes out from your body and seems to come down about 1 meter in front of you and then down into the ground, where it sort of lodges itself in the ground, head or arrow first. So love is coming out. Love wants to come out of your heart. It feels like, and it feels like you've got a lot of love, a lot of energy to give, a lot of support to offer. Maybe you haven't got the outlets right now that you'd like to have in offering and helping in the way that you feel that you need to and that you want to. So I feel, as I'm saying that too, I can feel like I'm sort of reversing back time a little bit, and now as the arrow comes out, like we have a second chance here, the arrow feels a bit more buoyant, like it's a bit more it's a little less heavy and going straight down. It feels more buoyant as it now travels out in front of you, a bit more sort of straight out but slightly down, as it goes now about 5 meters ahead of you and just gently comes down into the ground. And I feel like this is about you setting and anchoring love into your life, and the love that you have to offer, the love that you want to give, but also at the same time that love that you allow yourself to receive. So this is going out now into the world. It's setting like an intentions coming out from your heart with the things that you want to receive or want to give or want to offer or want to help with in your life, and looking for that outlet. It's almost a creative outlet, you know, like an outlet of expression, an outlet of healing, an outlet of love, an outlet of support. But it's some type of outlet that you may not have. That's just the feeling of what I've been tuning in with. So with your heart now feeling quite open, and this energy that's really come through from deep inside you, your solar plexus chakra that felt like it was withdrawn and kind of held back a little bit has now come forward and into alignment with your heart. So if we are like looking side on, and your heart is pushing forward and your solar plexus underneath your heart is pulling back, it feels like your solar plexus has come up level now with your heart. So it's pulling forward, and your heart, it's allowing actually somewhere for your heart to settle into. So this sounds really interesting and feels really quite fascinating to me, that actually as we've pulled your solar plexus forward into position where it needs to be instead of pulling back, as it's come forward, it's created like this really comfortable chair that now has allowed your heart to sit back into. So instead of your heart pulling and your solar plexus dropping back, it's like your heart has now settled into your solar plexus, like someone's just sat back down in the most comfortable chair, and the chair is your solar plexus chakra, your power center. So really settling into your heart, but also settling into your power, and your ability to feel courage and confidence and brave and strong to face what you're facing in your life. And that there's actually comfort in that, comfort in the strength that you can summon. So allow that energy to sort of come back into alignment, if you like. And now as your heart kind of sits back in this chair of your solar plexus, your crown chakra opens up, and all this light, it's like a really soft golden light, but really, really sparkly and bubbly energy, and it comes down from the universe above, and it pushes through now, through your body, through your crown, and through the upper part of your body here. But I'm very much interested in what it does over your heart. And it showers over your heart like a shower of golden bubbles, and it's sort of bubbly. It feels quite airy, this energy. So that's the energy that comes in and connects with your mental, your mind energy too. So that airy energy is coming in and bringing some clarity. I feel like it's bringing some openness to your mind, especially the things that you've been caved in with as far as your thinking. So this is really like lightening up and bubbling up your heart. And it moves down over your heart, over your solar plexus chakra, where it does the same thing. And then it consolidates itself as it comes under your solar plexus, right there at your hips actually. And it comes in like this golden, really soft golden stream. So now it's more liquidy, but a bit more lava-like consistency. So it's really sort of thick, this stream of soft golden light, as it moves down through your sacral chakra below your navel, and down through your base chakra, and also down through your legs, down through your hips, your legs, your knees, your ankles, your feet, and then just streams out through your toes. So it comes out through your toes, like these 10 little streams, little rivers or streams of light that just come out from your toes and spread out all in front of you. Now it's spreading out and it's widening your path before you, because there is a feeling I've got right now that maybe something inside you makes you think lately that your path has been narrowing. But actually, this is coming out and widening your path. So widening your opportunities and the options that are potentially available to you, and giving you a bit of elbow room, a bit of room to play, room to move. So if things feel less rigid, but a little bit more flexible as your path widens, instead of feeling or thinking that it's narrowing, because it sort of feels like it's been that way. So things are widening up for you. This feels really good, Andrea. I trust this resonates. Let's grab a card to add here. Okay, your best card to finish this off is this card from Healing Energy Cards number 1. And we have this. Here we go. Oh, this is interesting. Card 14, Male Support. It's in the rest category. And down here, oh, thanks, Andrea. Down here, it reminds you as truth that you are supported and protected. And I could really stop there. You are supported and you are protected. But I'm going to continue. It says your inner father protects your inner child. Family healing, family connections, strength, look ahead, and the true masculine, that masculine male support that wants to come in and gather around you and support you and strengthen you as you open to the idea and the prospect of your path widening now, and that you're aligned with it, that you're in a bringing your heart into that, like settling your heart down into your solar plexus feels really powerful, like something's locked into place. And that has also helped give you a wider path to look ahead towards, rather than a narrowing path. And, you know, narrowing paths are really uncomfortable because it sort of feels like, or we think that there's no way out, there's no options, things are caving in around us and there's no way out of this. And things just keep sort of narrowing, but they also keep descending and just like sinking deeper and deeper. It's really hard to get out of that. So this optimism, it's almost like an optimistic energy that's bringing a widening to your path and reminding you too that things may not be as bad as you think at this time. So just keeping your mind also open to the idea that things can improve, to stay optimistic, to stay positive of things improving for you. So thanks, Andrea. Thanks so much for your support. And I do trust this supports you at this time. Namaste. Thank you. All right, let's pop these cards back and see who's next. And that was a huge way to start this connection. Thanks, Andrea. All right, next on my list is this person. And it's Susan Sonsteng. Susan, please take a nice big breath. You know, it feels so good to be here. It feels really good to be sharing and connecting here in this way. So thank you for being here and for allowing me to connect with you in this way. So, well, that was interesting. This card, I was shuffling, it just kind of sat here. So I'm going to go with that card. Okay, it's card 107, Winter's Hibernation. It's in the rest category. And down here it says, the body at rest. Relax, heal, mend, switch off, take a break, slow moving, replenish your body, dormant, cave, seeds waiting, and seasons. So this is a slowing down of energy. This is equivalent to that winter space, that winter's hibernation. So body resting, healing, slow, that sort of thing. So Susan, take a nice big breath. Okay, let's see. Okay, so what I'm being drawn to immediately here for you, Susan, is that opening feeling that wants to come in your heart. And what it feels like is a chalice or a bowl that wants to pull open. It almost feels actually a bit like a flower really tightly closed, like a bud really tight, but your heart wants to open here like a flower or like a chalice, but like a, if I was a bit more flexible in my wrists, you know, I really open like this, but down at your heart. So like a chalice or a bowl that wants to really open up so that you can fill your heart more with love, with energy, with support, with kindness, with honesty, and the things that are important to you. So it's like making space and room in your heart to receive. That's the feeling. So this chalice, this bowl, this flower, this rose opens up here in your heart. My hands are getting very hot. There's a lot of healing energy coming in to open and expand your capacity to love. It's your capacity to love others, but your capacity to be loved. And it almost feels like the opposite of putting a guard up over your heart that actually stops you from being hurt in love or close to your heart, but it also stops love and good things coming in, and it stops love and good things coming out. We need to put this here to protect ourselves during certain time periods in our life. But it feels to me now like this is opening up here for you, Susan. And the chalice, this bowl here, and it really feels like a chalice, is very golden. So the golden energy is very much aligned with the solar plexus, and this is that strength energy that wants to come in and hold you here in the heart. And this is shifting energy now in your throat. So as your heart sort of pulls open, I love that description, pulls open, it really is pulling and stretching open and creating more space here. It's stirring up and moving energy in your throat chakra, and your throat chakra is your center for communication, expression, and truth. Feeling safe to speak your truth and feeling safe to be who you are. And this feels a bit emotional in here. There's a lot of watery energy that's sitting in here and kind of holding in there. It reminds me a little bit of like a little puddle of water. That after a fresh rain we have puddles of water, and then the deeper puddles, like the water evaporates out, but little remnants of water stays, and it sits there in the bottom of this little puddle of water, and it starts becoming a bit green and becoming a bit rancid and a bit toxic. And that's what it feels like here, like there's some old emotion that you've got stored here in your throat. And this is very interesting because typically old emotion that we bottle up, usually we store that right down in our belly. Sometimes we store it in our heart too. We can store it really anywhere, but for the most part, maybe 85% of the time, we tend to store it in our sacral chakra, down at our belly, just where we tend to bottle things up. But there's this energy that's just sitting here that feels like it's like a bottled up emotion that's sitting here, Susan, that's sitting very close to your throat. It's most likely connected with some type of suppression, a suppression that you either put on yourself or someone else or others put onto you, maybe even society itself, in the past. But it's very much present now, so it could be a fairly new thing that's happened maybe in the last 6 to 12 months kind of thing. So this sits here a bit rancid and a bit toxic. As I talk about this, there's more energy moving in your heart that feels a bit more now like a heartburn. So like a really fiery, hot, burny air energy that's coming through the heart now. So it still feels nice and open, but there's energy that's sort of just burning through here. As this energy lifts up, it's a bit like a hot steam, and it's coming up into your throat, and it's reaching the underneath of this little puddle that's got this old water, old emotion that's stored in there. It's moving up into this, and it feels like it's starting to boil it. So what this hot energy feels like in your heart, it feels like the vent of a volcano. It's coming out really hot energy. Now this actually, okay, this is really interesting because this actually shows me that underneath what feels like bottled up emotion that's stored here in the throat that feels probably connected with suppression of some sort, suppression of you, suppression of your truth or your voice. Actually underneath this, there's this venti, hot energy that's actually more mental. And this feels hot, it feels fiery, it may be connected with like anger or frustration, irritation of some sort, agitation, something that's happened that has stirred some anger of that hot sort of energy that's coming up. So it's coming up and it's kind of boiling underneath this little puddle of water here in your throat, like it's a little pot of water on a stove. It's coming up and it's starting to boil this energy. And as it boils it kind of breaks down the thick water, the thick rancid water and thick rancid emotion that it's become, that's been bottled up here. And it allows it to shift out and lift up like steam. And usually the energy lifts up and out through the mouth, but I'm feeling it lifting up into your sinuses and coming out through your nose, almost like your nose is the vent, which is really strange and different, but we'll just go with it. So just allowing this all to lift up and release out through your nose, up through your sinuses, clearing your sinuses out as well. So it's shifting the energy in the heart, shifting the throat, and then what it's been converted into is also shifting out. So this is just letting all this energy move through here and really breathing it out, forcing it out through your nose and all your nasal cavity and letting go. Now, while that energy continues to do that, I'm being drawn to your shoulders where it feels like a heaviness here that's being shifted, a heaviness that you've been sort of strapped to somehow, or it's been strapped to you. Like really strapped down, is starting to shift through your shoulders. So things are starting to feel like they're lightening up through here. Your heart's lightening too as this energy, the last of this energy, shifts through and pushes up and out and converts and does whatever it's doing up here through your throat and through your nasal cavity. And just letting this lift up. The last of that sort of energy in the puddle, that bottled up emotion, is also shifting out and now releasing the last bit of that sort of steamy energy that's coming through and out through your nostrils. So with this all shifted, it feels now really big and open through this whole area, all the way actually almost to just below your third eye chakra, your nasal, so all through your nasal sinuses there, and all the way down to your heart. Like this is this big open sort of ball or sphere. So the chalice that I connected with before, it almost feels like that's been completed at the top part. Like we're now looking at a sphere of like a golden light. But it's like an extension of that chalice. And it sits here and it allows all this whole area to open. So we can also include the opening here of your neck, your throat. Also your shoulders are included. So I'm not surprised we've shifted energy there already. Also, we can almost include too your ears, your mouth, and any energy that's shifting through here. So just allowing that energy and that space to come in. This is giving you some room and some space, opening up your capacity to love and your capacity to receive, and your capacity to give as well. It's also really powerful, this energy that's shifted here in your throat. So that suppressive energy is shifting away. So allow yourself to keep releasing and keep letting go. And I'm going to grab a card now, Susan, just to see what this wants to add here. And the best card to finish this off for you is this. This is from Healing Energy Cards, Deck 1. And it's this card. Sacred Love, card 40, and down here, it's in the depth category, and down here it says, take your self-love to deeper levels, improvement in your relationships, including your relationship with yourself, explore, go inward, and initiation. Now this, when I drew this, it felt like a rib cage, like a whale's rib cage or something. And I don't know if you can see that clearly in what you see here, but it's like a rib cage, and this path that goes through the rib cage, through this sort of initiation and into the heart. And it's interesting because I said it came just under the third eye, and we've got this heart here with this golden sphere that comes up pretty much right under the heart, all the way around to just under the third eye. So this represents that energy that I was talking about really well. This purple energy, this feels like your shoulders. And this purple energy is that lifting off of your shoulders. Your third eye is nice and open, so there's a lot of trust here that you have in your journey and yourself and how you feel and the decisions you make and all that sort of stuff. But this feeling of almost like a testing period as you're walking through this rib cage and through into your heart. As your heart opens, it breaks things, almost feels like things that have become rigid and things that have become fixed, like a rib cage. Like these are this energy's bursting all that open. And so really breaking down the things that have calcified for you in your life and within yourself. So sacred love, take your self-love to deeper levels. Interesting. Thank you, Susan. I trust this resonates and supports you. Thank you so much. Namaste. Thank you. Okay, I've got 2 more people left on my list. And the next person is this person. It's KantiDevi Wedad. So Kanti, please take a nice big breath. And let's see what's going on for you. So I'm feeling energy moving in the throat. Different to before. It feels more like, what does it feel like without sounding weird? It feels like a bunch of insects moving around in your throat. I was going to say worms, but it feels a bit more active than that. So maybe more like centipedes. It has like a wormy feeling, like just the energy. So quite elongated, but it feels more like a bug. So I'm thinking like centipede energy, like moving around here in your throat, and very much in this infinity symbol, shifting energy through your throat and moving it out and moving new energy in and moving it out. So there's a lot of movement, a lot of activity, a lot of stuff happening here in your throat. So your best card to start with, Kanti, is this one. It's from Healing Energy Cards Deck 2. And it is this Break the Spell card 73. It's in the Rise category. And down here it says unbinding contracts, obligations and promises once made. That, when we make promises or we make contracts or obligations, like at the present, like we're serious about those, hopefully, when we make them. So when I'm talking about unbinding these contracts and obligations and promises that were once made, I'm talking about really old ones, because we can, if you're open to it, we can make promises and obligations and even some soul contracts in past lives with people that we continue to, on some level, need to fulfill as we journey through our life. Also, we make promises to, like in old relationships with people in our life, and maybe they pass away, maybe the relationship breaks down, maybe we change and we move on, maybe it doesn't work out the way we thought it would at the time. So those promises and those goals and those obligations that we set at the time, we kind of keep those in play in some way. They're almost like soul contracts in some way, and it can really pull us back. So as things change in our life, we also, or I find it helpful to look at those sort of contracts and those promises that aren't going to reach fruition any longer because circumstances have changed. So it's really worth, if it's important to you at the time, but really worth considering that if that's something that you've sort of got hovering over you and you don't really know how to move forward from it. It also says here to release from the narcissist, to wake up, or you're waking up, realization of living a lie, influence and truth. So breaking the spell. This is quite confronting, but a really interesting card. So this has come up for you, Kanti, breaking the spell. So we'll see where that fits. I'm not going to fixate on the card. I'm more interested in the energy that I feel here. Okay, so this energy that's moving through your throat in a figure 8, so a sideways figure 8, so in the infinity symbol. And it's a lot of movement, lots of intricate movement too. It's not just like a wind that's kind of blowing through and blowing out. I mean, there's an intricacy here to what feels like, the best way for me to describe it is a few centipedes running around in this figure 8 pattern in your throat. But I feel like their little legs are working on things really intricately, really delicately, really fine things that they're refining and shifting and moving on a really fine level. So fine, it's like a spider weaving its web, and the fineness of the web, the fineness of the spider's little feet as it walks through the web. There's something really deep and really delicate here that's moving, and it is moving. So like I said before, energy moving quickly out, energy moving quickly in. Most of the energy that's going out feels like this, like there's a lot of little feet involved as it sort of flicks and kicks out. As the energy comes in, it feels a little smoother. So it's smoother on the in and it's more like this on the out. If that makes any sense. I know it's weird, but this is just what I'm feeling. So just allowing this energy to move out as it sort of tickles and flicks intricately out. On the left side it's going out, right side coming in, and then it builds up again. So it's just continuing to move through. So this is shifting a lot of stuff in your throat. So your throat, again, connected to communication, expression, truth, feeling safe to speak your truth and be who you are. So there's really intricate things that are shifting out on that level and moving in on that level too. And you know, this sort of thing happens when we make big changes in our life and we don't really know where we're going or how we're going to settle or who's going to be in our life at the time. And things that we had set up for ourselves in the past has changed because we may have moved on or whatever's shifted. So we have to re-establish these new things for ourselves, new forms, new ways, new connections. And really connections probably is the key word there. New connections to be made. So I'm not surprised that this old energy is moving out and new energy is coming in. And this is part of your integration, it feels, and part of your settling into the new. But it's on really deep truth levels. So I feel like you're approaching an awareness and a clarity in regards to what this next chapter of your life can bring in for you in regards to your truth, your purpose, and a sense of meaning as well. So as this energy is moving, and it's just continuing here as I talk, it's actually drawing down in your body. So it's not actually stuck here at your throat. It's not just rotating in the one place. It's actually just really slowly shifting down. So it's shifting down towards your heart as it moves, and actually as it gets to your heart, the infinity symbols and the movement here is becoming larger. So we've got larger movement here, moving out in larger, more intricate ways, and moving in bigger ways too. So everything's becoming bigger here at your heart. And as it becomes bigger, it pushes down now and is moving down towards your solar plexus, just above your navel. And it comes in a little bit more now, but it becomes wider. So instead of being extended and bigger, it's becoming more of a square sort of shape like this. So it's almost as high as it is wide, as it's at your solar plexus. So there's a consolidating energy that's coming in here as the energy keeps moving out and more energy keeps coming in. And we've just got this rhythm. It's very much a rhythm of in and out, of release and receive, of movement that's coming in, but very consolidated here at your solar plexus chakra. So really solid energy that wants to come in and help you create solid foundations in your life now. And you know, this doesn't matter really for the most part what's around you on the outside. It's consolidating things on the inside and finding acceptance and peace with where you are now. And as this energy moves down to your sacral chakra, it's starting to turn and become more like a figure 8 on the vertical as it's moving down to your sacral chakra, and it's pushing energy out, but it's going down and energy up. So it's more of a down and up rather than a side to side feeling. So this is pushing energy down, pulling energy up, and bringing a balance here in your sacral chakra, which is your emotional center, just below your navel. It's a balance in giving, receiving, a balance in the emotions and what you're feeling coming in and out, and this a balance between expression and contemplation, or expression and contemplation, but that energy that we just kind of sit in and contemplate. I can't think of a better word right now, but this sort of balance between contemplation and expression. So sitting in something and moving something. So this energy's, and especially emotionally, but also creatively. So this energy is coming in, and then it's pushing down on the vertical as well, down to your base chakra, which is just down at the tailbone. So that's your that's your center for grounding and survival instincts, and it's pulling down very, very long now. So it's really stretching out on the vertical as it pushes right down into the earth. So it becomes so long, it's like the length of your legs. from the center point at your base chakra, and it pushes down that loop of the figure 8 down into the ground, really grounding you. And then the other end comes up and wraps around your crown, really connecting you. And it seems to be centered here at your base chakra, so around your physicality and your physical life right now, and your whatever you've got going on in regards to your survival. But your physicality is where it's centered at this point. That's what I feel as far as your whole being. It's centered around your base chakra, which is very interesting. Okay, so we'll leave the energy to continue working its magic, really, because it's going to continue for the next few days, is the feeling. So let's just grab another card to add here for you, Kanti. So the best card to add and complete this healing session off is this healing energy card from deck 1, and it's this Healing Hands card 22. It's in the action category, and down here it says hands, creativity, expression, building, making, caring, nurturing, receiving, emitting, extension, intentions, and bringing something into form. So this feels like a raw creativity, like a primal energy that's wanting you to, or you're preparing to bring something into form. But the form part and bringing that into form is probably not even priority or even in your awareness right now, because it feels in some ways you're creating the canvas now. What you're going to create on the canvas, like that's miles away, time-wise and energetic-wise. So there is a feeling that you're preparing to create something. You're preparing to build something deeper and more substantial, more meaningful for you in your life. And at this time, it's a preparation. So you're doing this healing energy that wants to come in. And actually, this is interesting, just the energy that's moving through here with the hands and this sort of figure 8 or infinity symbol energy that's quite prominent in this particular illustration. And it's all coming from the heart shape, so from love. Lots of green for growth and change and healing as well. So I trust this resonates. Thanks so much, Kanti. Thanks for your support. Namaste. Okay, let's pop these cards back. How are you all doing? I trust that you're feeling good. Thanks for joining me today. If you want to be a part of this type of healing event next month, I do them at the end of each month, then please have a look at my Patreon. The link is on the video description. So the lucky last person I'm connecting with today is Carol White. Welcome back, Carol, to these connections. Let's grab a card for you and see what's loudest in your energy. Okay, so the first thing that I'm picking up at this point is energy, quite a bloated energy here in the sacral chakra, like the energy at the sacral is feeling quite bloated, which could be like a pregnancy birthing energy too, so preparing to birth something new, but I'll tap further into that in a second. Let's grab a card for you to begin with, Carol. So the best card as we start this connection is this healing energy card, deck 2, and it's this card 61. It says notice the details. It's in the depth category, and down here it says make sure you comprehend and understand what is being communicated. Hi, Curtie. Don't fill in the blanks or read between the lines. Pay attention, think and read. Notice the details. So try not to read between the lines. Oh, that's great. That's great, Valerie. I'm so pleased. Okay, notice the details. All right, Carol. So let's go back down to your sacral chakra. So your sacral chakra is your center just below your navel. This is your emotional center, and it feels quite bloated at this time. So what I need to feel on is whether this is bloated with unexpressed emotion or bottled up emotion. Is this bloated because there's sort of a more of a pregnancy feeling where you're about to birth something new in your life? Like, I need to feel on what is this bloated energy. So it feels like it pulls forward, and it feels like there's almost like a basketball that's sitting in your belly, and it feels full of air, so lots of mental energy that's tied up or snared up in here with your emotions and the emotional energy that your sacral chakra basically governs. As this basketball kind of energy, as it really pulls forward and stretches you ahead and has this really strong bloated feeling, it also feels like it puts a strain of some sort, like a strain on your lower back. Almost like if we were to pull on a rubber band, and it feels like the back of where the rubber band's sitting against, that is being almost pulling apart, where you can sometimes even see the little cracks in the rubber band because of the pressure and the strain that it's under. So there's a feeling here that things are, I want to use the word cracking in some ways, here at your lower back. So this is the back of your sacral chakra, and this is connected with old emotional energy that you've got stored from the past. Anything that's happening around the back is almost always past energy. So because it's down at your lower back, it's aligned with the sacral chakra, so it's old emotional energy, and it's being pulled at. And I feel like it's being pulled at and sort of tugged at, and feels really strained, because I feel like you've been looking at this stuff, and you've been really looking at your old stuff and your old stuff from the past. As I say that, there's energy moving here in your throat, and it really feels moving like hot air that's moving up through your throat. And as it moves through your throat in a really little small way, it's also pulling up your body. It's pulling up your chin, it's pulling up your spine, it's pulling up your head, as this energy is sort of just stroking under your chin, it feels like, as it moves around here, this hot energy. So just breathing in, gathering that, and breathing it out and letting it go. So as this is let go of, the band snaps. Oh, thanks, Jane. The band snaps here at the back. So it snaps apart. And, okay, what's happening here? The band, so it's almost like it has been a thick rubber band, and it's been holding this basketball energy in place. So as this band has snapped, and it's snapped into one big length that's not looped, as this has snapped, the basketball that felt like it was being held there by this band drops to the ground, just like starts bouncing away. So it starts bouncing away and just returns back to love. So actually this band was holding this bloated energy in your belly in place from old emotions. So your honesty and your truth at exploring and looking at your past and your bottled up emotions has helped shift this. So I've just sort of taken it to that next level. So the broken band, which I feel here in my hand, I just drop down to the earth where it returns back to love. It looks like a really worn out belt, actually. You know, a leather belt that's really worn out and really faded and kind of cracking and warped. That's what it feels like as I drop it down, this belt. So you don't need to wear this belt any longer, this belt that's constrained you and held that old emotion in place, and just letting that go. So your belly's already feeling less bloated, let's say. It feels like it's returned to normal. There's a cool energy that's coming in around your lower back as this band or this belt has been removed. There's like a fresh, cool energy that's coming in and activating, we could say, your lower back. It's a bit like a garden, and the garden hasn't had rain for some months, so it was really dried out there. But it feels like this fresh, cool energy feels like the first rains of the season after a very hot, dry summer, perhaps. So the rains feel very refreshing, very cool, and also nurturing, because it feels like there's this nurturing energy that wants to come into your lower back and really nurture you on that emotional level from the past and what you've been through there. And then you are nurturing and caring for and really tending to your emotional garden, really pulling out the weeds that don't need to be there anymore, planting the new seeds that you want to plant, but also tending to the crops and the trees and the plants and the roses and the flowers that you have already seeded over your lifetime, that you have a really well-established garden. So it feels like just pulling out those weeds that feel very emotional, and just feeling what seeds do you want to plant now in the place where those weeds were. So, and it feels like just a very neat, small, square garden. It doesn't make sense to have these big trees and bushes and plants in here. It doesn't logically make sense, but it feels like a nice, neat, square little space for you to tend to, and really care for yourself and tend to the things, especially emotionally, but the things that you want to grow in your life. So that brings me back to that bloated feeling in the belly, that yes, this felt like old emotion that you stored in there that was very mentally connected as well. But also that also did represent the birthing of something new. So tending to your inner garden, or maybe even your outer garden, your outer life, to tend to the things that you want to bring forward in your life, the seeds that you do want to plant. So thanks, Carol. I trust that resonates. Let's grab a card and see what that wants to add here at this point. Okay, the best card to add here is this. It's Healing Energy Cards Deck 2, and it's this, talking about gardens. It's card 106, the Tree of Life, and it's in the depth category here. And down here it says, life calls you, roots growing, see the beauty all around. Everything moves in cycles, and some cycles are easier than others. Be patient, and there are lessons that you're learning. But this feels like this tending, this nurturing, this caring for your inner, your outer garden, and really consider the seeds that you want to plant, but also the parts of yourself that you have really established that are bearing fruit, or that are something beautiful to sit under, like a beautiful big oak tree, or a beautiful rose bush that you can pick the roses of and really smell the roses. So you have established all these beautiful trees or plants over your lifetime that are worth keeping and worth appreciating it and honouring in many ways. So I trust this supports you, Carol. Thanks so much for your support and allowing me to connect with you. Thanks, Carol. Namaste. Thank you so much, everybody. Thanks for joining me today. I'll be back on Friday at this stage with a healing list event for patrons. The time or the day may change, but at this stage it's staying the same. So I'm just waiting to hear what's going on in with family stuff by the end of today or tomorrow. That will confirm. I'll change that as soon as I have to, if I have to, but it may stay the same, just so that you know. Thanks, Andrea. So thanks, everybody. Have a great rest of your day, and I will see you next time. Take care. Goodbye for now.